What are we doing?
About to hike 4,000 feet to the peak.
Mailbox Peak. This was a fun one. 4,000 feet of elevation and about 2.5 miles all the way up to the top. Yeah, that's about 1,600 feet of elevation per mile. It's a burner. It took us about an hour to get there from Seattle. Key thing to note when you're parking is that you want to make sure you park in the bottom lot if you're going to be there later than 8 p.m. At 8 p.m., the gate to the top lot closes and you will be locked in. So make sure you're at the bottom lot if you're going to be hiking late. We parked at the bottom lot because we didn't get there till about 5 p.m. We started hiking up just to the upper lot. It was pretty simple. It won't be long before you see the new and improved trail on your left-hand side. We decided to go up the old one and give ourselves a bit of a challenge, so we continued on about a couple hundred feet, about a third of a mile, until you keep on going on a nice gravel path. You'll come to the old trail, where you will see a nice big warning sign. Freaks you out a little bit. Make sure you're prepared for what you're about to get yourself into.
About halfway there. Hopes up. Stokes time.
The trail starts pretty mellow. You'll be kind of surprised and think, oh, maybe this actually isn't quite so bad. You'll kind of wind around the forest. You'll go near a river and hike alongside that river for a little while. But it won't take long at all for the hike to start getting pretty steep and you start hitting some switchbacks. The trail in all doesn't feature that many switchbacks, but at the beginning, just to get you going and get you going up some real steep, quick terrain, you'll notice that there's a bunch of really quick, steep switchbacks. So enjoy these while they last, because after this, you'll just be going pretty much straight up the trail, no switchbacks. Once you reach the top of the switchbacks, you'll notice that you traverse into a dark, dense portion of the forest. The sunlight will kind of disappear behind you and it'll just be you amongst the trees, the moss, the rocks, and the roots. You'll notice that you start climbing very steep terrain with a lot of roots sticking out. This is where it can get a little tricky to keep your footing, so make sure you're watching where you step. Sometimes you even have to use your hands and grab some trees to help you get through onto the path. While climbing the steep terrain, you'll get a couple of sections that give you a little bit of a breather and have some more gradual incline to them. Make sure you enjoy these because they won't last long before you hop back on the steep section of the trail. To stay on track, you need to look out for the silver diamonds. Every time you see a diamond, look ahead of you and see the next one on a tree up above. This is the route that you should continue to follow. This is how you make sure you stay on the trail for the entire time.
Halfway there.
Just before you get to the 2-mile mark, you notice that there's some lush greenery alongside you while you're hiking up on the trail. The trees start to disperse a little bit and a little bit more sunlight starts to shine through, giving you hope that you're almost at the top. Not long after this, you'll reach a point where the old trail meets up with the new trail. If you're going up on the old trail, you can go to the right and hop on the new trail, or you can stay straight like we did and stay on the old trail. The old trail is obviously a lot shorter at this point, but it's also a lot steeper. If you choose to stay on the old trail, be prepared for a series of switchbacks for the next third of a mile. Once you get to the top of these switchbacks, you'll connect back on to the new trail, and you'll see an opening once again. To the right, if you're lucky on a blue sky day, you might even see Rainier poking its head up. Not long after this, the trail will open up to a giant open boulder field. You'll see stairs cut out through the boulder field, and it'll be an easy walk at this point compared to what you just did going up the old trail. As you walk amongst a couple of sweeping switchbacks throughout the boulder field, you'll have some amazing views of Mount Rainier, and if you're lucky, you'll even see Seattle and the Olympic Mountain Range behind you, and of course, Interstate 90 flowing through down in the valley. As you walk amongst the rocks for 15 to 20 minutes, you'll reach the top of the ridge, where you will be presented with your first views of the top of Mailbox Peak. It's here that you have about a quarter-mile left to go on the hike, with a gain of about 600 feet. It's killer. The home stretch is filled with steep, strenuous switchbacks and difficult rocks to climb. You might have to use your hands once again to help yourself get to the top. At this point in our hike, our legs were absolutely fried, and it was a bit of a challenge to go the home stretch. Once you're about 100 feet from the top, the mailbox will come into view. You're just about there. Finish those final strides, run up to it, and touch the mailbox in glorious victory. Or in the case of COVID, maybe just touch it with your elbow.
COVID.
In total, the hike took us about 2 hours and 13 minutes, and my watch clocked it at 3.6 miles from the car to the very peak. If it's a sunny day, enjoy the views of Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, Glacier Mountain, Seattle in the distance, the highway below, and all the other surrounding peaks.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And of course, don't forget to bring your favorite beverage or snack to celebrate. It's well deserved once you reach the top. Happy hiking.